Welcome to another episode, Spill in the Ville. Got your host, Terrence Jennings, co-host slash producer, Blake McCauley. Hey, what's going on, Blake? I see it looks like you're in my spot over there, man. What's going on?
Yeah. Had to come up here a little early. Had some time before the shift, so we're getting this episode cranked out. A lot of guys in here, a bunch of professional guys coming through today. Looks like a lot of people are home. Don't want to put their name out there because I'm not sure if they want that out there or not. But a
Yeah,
lot of great hoopers coming through. It's that time of year.
yeah, for sure. It's a very exciting time of the year. A lot of guys coming in, getting their work in, and we're just glad that we have a place for them to come. Thanks to Peyton and Patience, and they're coming in, they're working out hard, and they're able to stay in shape and get ready for that next season and make that strong push.
Yeah, for sure. We've got plenty of cards in here, but what we're going to be talking about today are the three transfer portal additions and Ryan
Yeah.
Conwell, Isaac
Mhm.
McKneely, and Adrian Wooley. We'll talk about the rest of the roster and the retaining Kason Pryor and Javon Hadley at a later date, but we're coming here right after James Scott hit the transfer portal this morning. Kind of seemingly, shocked me. That was for sure. Terrence, what are your thoughts? I know you're a big supporter of Bane Scott throughout the year.
Yeah, we lost the Bane, man. We lost Bane. Uh, hey, it's part of the process, man. I understand. I was very. Everybody knows I was very high on James Scott. Very athletic, big, a very huge asset to the team. But hey, man, it's part of the process, man. These guys they're making moves. It's a new day and age. We don't have to. These guys don't have to stay anywhere they don't want to be. So hey, he made the decision, and we're gonna wish him the best of luck. But we're gonna miss you, Bang Scott. Good luck on future endeavors, and shoot, we'll see you soon, man.
Yeah, I know back in your era, the transfer portal was a little bit different. You had to set out a year, and I don't think we really utilized that much. We started to pick up when you were there, and I think
Mhm.
Chris Smith might have really been. We had David Paget obviously earlier, and
Yeah.
I know Chris Smith came in when you were there. Do you remember anything kind of like that process was like, where you had to sit out a year and just kind of?
Yeah, and that's what I feel like would deter a lot of transfers. Just you have to sit out that year, and you got to watch, your teammates play. If they're winning games, and you get, or if they're losing games, you feel like you can help. So it's just it's a different time. Chris Smith, yeah, like you mentioned, Chris Smith, he was a transfer guy. He had to sit out a year. But he worked out the whole year. But I could tell in his face he couldn't wait to get out there. He was very anxious, and that's what a lot of these guys, back in my time, that transferred and they had to sit out that year. And you can either use that year to get better, or some might even regress. It just depending on what you do in that time that you're there, and what type of program and what type of details they're showing. But yeah,
Yeah. Shout out Reggie Delk too. I think he came from Mississippi State.
Reggie
Can't leave him
Dell.
out.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
we'll go ahead and dive into these additions. We'll start off with Ryan Conwell, comes in ranked as the 18th player in the transfer portal, coming from Xavier, averaging 16 and a half points, about 1.3 steals, 45% shooting, and 41% from three. He's also had stops at USF and Indiana State. Terrence, what really sticks out to you about Ryan Conwell?
A lot. We're definitely gonna be able to utilize him in a lot of spots. 6'4", believe he's played a small forward at Xavier. 6'4", 215, big, strong forward, shooter. Definitely needs some shooters this year. I think he enhances our roster in our team scoring. His ability to kind of stretch that defense out. We're definitely adding another shooter out there, which is good for this upcoming season. I think we lacked more perimeter scoring, and I think he's going to help with that. He played at Xavier, which is a very prestigious program, and he has a excessive amount of experience just playing at a high level. So I'm excited to bring him in. I'm interested to see what PK can do with him and put him in position to be successful. I think he'll be very good in this system for us. Yeah, it's just a great addition to the team. This transfer portal has been going crazy for a lot of players, and I think we picked up some big time players in this transfer portal, and I'm very excited for Conwell. So welcome,
Yeah.
Conwell. We can't wait to get you out here, man.
Yeah, one thing that people just from the outside look, and it's like, well, he's been to USF, Indiana State, Xavier. Now he's on his fourth school, but I
Yeah,
think a little bit comes with a little bit of bad luck. I think every place he's been at has had a coaching change every
yeah,
single one of those years. You know,
yeah,
Indiana State shirts went to St. Louis. Xavier, they just had Sean Miller go to
yeah,
Texas. So it's like I've heard nothing but great things about this kid, and it seems like he's just wanted to go win everywhere he's been, and he's kind of just been dealt a bad hand. So I'm very
yeah,
excited for the addition of him.
yeah, for sure.
All right, we'll go ahead and get into another guard, Isaac McKneely, senior. He's a familiar face from Virginia, averaged 14 points last year, shot almost 44%, 42% from three. I mean, every time you turn on Virginia, they might not have been very good, but this guy seemed like he was going crazy every single game. Terrence, what really stuck out about his game when you looked at his film?
All right, I really like Isaac McNeely's game when I watched him. Also, as another knockdown shooter to our team, but he can also penetrate the lanes too and get you some buckets. So he's got some pretty good handle on him. But I'm just watching. He has a great leadership experience. You know, he's played 98 games, 3 seasons at Virginia. You know, so he's very capable and he knows what he's doing out there. And he's a pretty good defensive guy too. So that's one thing that stuck out to me, you know, but he brings a wealth of experience and skill that can definitely enhance our roster. We're definitely excited to have him this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He can definitely catch. He's I wouldn't want to say he's like Rain Smith off the catch or anything, but I mean
Yeah,
he's a knockdown, lights
for
out
sure.
shooter. But
Yeah,
he's also really good at creating his own shot. And if he needs to get a three, he can get a three. He can
for
also, like
sure.
you said, penetrate through the lane. I mean, he
Yes.
seems like, and he's a big, stocky. Like he's not a smaller
Stocky.
guard. I mean, he's a big, thick guy. So,
Six
uh,
four. Yeah,
yeah,
big guy.
yeah. And the way that Coach Kelsey wanted to play at the beginning of the year last year with the smaller lineups, get a lot of threes. It seems like
Hmm.
these three additions that we're going to be talking about, I mean, that fits the mold. They're longer, bigger
Yeah.
guys to where if they need to play the
Mm.
three, they can play the three. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, hats off to everything that Pat Kelsey and everybody on his staff has been able to do.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, definitely a great addition to the team. I can't wait to see him in the Pat Kelsey system. I think he'll do exceptionally well. You know how PK is at drawing those out of bounds plays and setting up his shooters. So I think he'll work well with that, getting
Isaac
those knocking
McNeely
up.
seems like a Pat Kelsey's dream, drawing something up for him. He knows that. I mean,
Yeah,
he knows something's if it's an open look. I
yeah,
mean,
he gonna get you one.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
So yeah, that's definitely a great addition. So welcome, Isaac McNeely. We can't wait to get you down here, get you adjusted to this Kentucky environment, this Louisville environment. Get you some of this good food and meet some of the great fans of Louisville. And it's gonna be a great experience for you, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. If nobody's done it yet, pull up a picture of the professor and Isaac McNeely. Identical,
Oh
identical.
yeah, okay, okay,
Yeah, people's a little.
definitely,
If you're too young, I mean, I should probably be too young to know who the professor
yeah.
is, but hey, you got to know who the professor is. And
That's a
this kid,
legend, right? A street ball
oh yeah,
legend.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Escalade, another Louisville legend.
RP Escalade. I actually got to meet Escalade one time and got to play with him in Rucker
Okay.
Park. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
nice. Let's go. Let's go.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah, for
legend for
sure,
sure.
for sure.
All right. We'll go ahead. We'll dive into Adrian Wooley. He's one of 10 5 stars in the transfer portal. He's only a sophomore, comes in
Mm.
as the number 10 player in the portal. Coming from Kennesaw State, averaging 18.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, 1.4 steals on 51% shooting and 42% from the three. Terrence, I mean, there's a lot of things that stick out there, but what's really stuck out to you on tape?
Just clapping it up, man. I like this kid. Hey, lefty. You know, he averaged 18 points. So let's bring it
It's
on.
a
Let's
freshman.
bring it.
Freshman.
It's a freshman. Hey, Shoot it up, get it up, get them shots up, big fella. We wait. We need that. Bring that over here. But very great kid. He's a lefty. He's a knockdown shooter, but he can slash too. He can get to the paint. He's a really good slasher, and I think he brings us another defensive element. He's pretty long kid. So I think he's Conference USA record by earning 11 of the week's honors in a single season. He's also became the first player in Kennesaw State history to be named freshman All-American team. So this kid, he's racking up a lot of accolades just as a freshman. It's only his second year. So, he scored 28 points against Georgia State, and he's a scorer. And I know I can't wait to see him get out there. Another kid, I can't wait to see him in that Pat Kelsey's offense, because I think Pat Kelsey allows his players to flourish and he puts them in positions to be successful. Um, as long as you're out there, you're giving it your all, you're playing hard, you will be successful in this system. I
Yeah,
adamantly agree about that.
yeah, I hate comparing players, but like he ran a lot of his game is kind of similar to Terrence Edwards, and like they're very
Yeah,
great slashers. I think
yeah,
I would say he's a bit better of a shooter than
yeah.
Terrence, but it's like both. I mean, I'd love to have
I
Terrence
agree.
Edwards for another year, and if this kid's only a
Yeah,
sophomore, and
yeah.
I mean the sky is the limit for him.
Adrian, we can't wait to get you out here. We're very excited to have you here at the University of Louisville.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, one thing that people are talking a lot about these transfers and bringing Kaysen back and Javon is like, who's going to start? Scott
Mm-hmm.
just transferred. It's like, who's going to
Yeah,
start? But it's like we saw early in the year how PK was going with his rotations.
yeah.
He's done it in his years at Charleston, where he wants to play 10 guys if he can, and it looks like we're going to have the talent to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like all these guys are great locker room additions and leaders as well. So, I mean, we might not be finished yet, so it's looking good.
Yeah. And I always tell my players, don't worry about who starts. It's really about who finished the game. That's the most important players. I knew a guy that started every game, but he only played 2 minutes. So hey, just long as you're in tune, your time. If you're not starting, when I came in, I didn't start. I didn't start my freshman year. I came in. They made it very clear, Coach Rick Pitino. He made it very clear to me that I'm going to have to earn a starting position. I'm going to have to do well in practice, and then that'll translate to if I'm going to start. And then, okay, I'll start. I have to do well because I actually want to play a lot of minutes. So you just got to keep in mind that it's a team effort. As long as you're winning and you come out there, do your part, you'll be fine. Don't worry about who's starting. And just come out there, win games, and everybody will be successful.
Yeah, Wooley, he's going to be coming. He's in that from freshman to sophomore leap, and I guess it's a little bit different than your
Hmm.
position. But what do you remember most from that freshman to sophomore leap, just physically, mentally, and just learning the game?
Well, so when you're transferring, so I would say he has to start over, in a sense, because I started my sophomore year, but I put my work in my freshman year here. So once he comes in, we know the work that he's done at Kennesaw, but he's gonna have to kind of prove that his game translates to our system. So we might, I'm not saying, but we might not need him to start. We might need him to finish the game. It just depends on where PK sees him fitting for our system for everyone to be successful. So, I mean, I hope I see him starting. That'll be fine. I'll take it. But he just has to prepare himself mentally to come out there and play his game and do the best he can with the minutes that he gets.
Yeah, from your point of view, would you rather have a guaranteed starting spot or be guaranteed 18 to 20 minutes plus a game?
18 to 20 minutes for sure.
Okay.
I don't need to start. I never honestly I wasn't worried about starting. I wanted to because I like to watch how the flow of the game is, and I like to see what's going on out there. Like, okay, there's so many nerves. You still got to get loose. You still got to get going when you're starting the game. So you kind of get to get all those butterflies out, get all those anxiety, all that stuff out while you're just watching the game, and you're actually able to mentally get yourself in the game. But hey, look, these guys want to start. I understand. I'm different. I approach the game different. Everybody approaches the game differently. So it's about your stock and how things look. So people want to start, and it's just all about the optics. Okay, but all that doesn't matter as long as we're winning championships and we're winning games. Nobody's gonna care who started. They're gonna look like, oh, that kid, he went for 28. He didn't come in till the second. He didn't come in till 8 minutes in the first half. He went for 28. Are they gonna remember the 28? Are they gonna remember you not starting?
Yeah, for sure.
Too.
And that's
So
what I mean. Early in the year, there was games Kaysen didn't start. There was games that Javon, Terrence. I mean,
right.
basically, there's game everybody throughout the season didn't start, but that
Yeah.
props to PK and all his staff to
Yeah.
keep that unit as solid together and keep it focused on the main issue at hand. And you never saw the team crack or anything. They had that
Yeah.
bond and they were in it to the very end.
Yeah. Just go out there, support your teammates, and just be ready to play when your number's called.
Just wanted to take a second and give a big shout out, big shout out to Best Way, home of the low price guaranteed, or it's free, where you can get all of your home furnishing needs on a deal. They have everything from smart refrigerators, washer dryer sets, 86-inch TVs, PS5s, Xboxes, all the way to reclining living room suites and bedroom suites. Best Way offers so many ways to pay, from retail, rent to own, and even financing through Lendmark, with 2 locations in Indiana, one in New Albany, and one in Jeffersonville. 5 locations in Kentucky: Radcliffe, Dixie Highway, Hikes Lane, Shelbyville, and Shepherdsville. Stop by today and tell them that we sent you to get $100 off your new item. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, we're going to be diving into a new segment that we've debuted. It's Take 3 with TJ. This is where you guys can go on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and ask Terrence anything you'd like. If it's about a former teammate he played with, about a perspective he had at his time at U of L, something you'd like to learn more about Terrence, anything that you guys can think of, 3 questions will be selected, and we'll roll with them on this show. So we'll dive into the 3 that were selected for this one.
Yes, sir. Let's get to it.
Thank you to everybody that commented. We appreciate it, and we look
Yeah.
forward to keeping the segment going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. E. Chadwick, 32, wants to know what sold you to come to Louisville and what experiences made this feel like home.
A lot of people don't know I was originally committed to the University of Maryland with Bob Williams. Went down there, did a visit, Comcast Center. Took my visit there and everything. I had verbally committed. So I didn't sign, I verbally committed. And maybe a couple months later, I got wind that University of Louisville was interested in me, particularly uh, Coach Rick Pitino. And I had just got done watching the documentary on through the fire with Sebastian Telfair. So I was very familiar, and he was taking the cameras through the dormitories, the facilities, and what they have to offer, the chef, and just everything that they had to offer for athletes at the time. And I seen the documentary before I knew Louisville was interested in me. So I just got wind that they were very interested in me, and they wanted me to to sign, commit, and everything. So honestly, I didn't know too much about University of Louisville, and I knew it was a big school, and I remember watching them on TV. But I was just like, hey, whoever I know I'm big time, and I want to go to a big time school. So I just said, I'm gonna take an unofficial visit. No, I'm gonna take an official visit to University of Louisville and see the campus. So I got here, and my mind was blown. I messed up a lot of the guys that were there. I believe it was probably a Derek character there. I believe Edgar was there. Earl Clark, Terrence Williams. They just gave me all the information on the city. They said, "Hey, there are no NBA teams around here. There's no NBA teams in Kentucky at all. So when you come out here, you're like the NBA team. You're the man. Everybody knows who you are. Posters." I said, "Dang, really?" I'm a California kid. I, I never saw myself just, being put on display like that and being able to actually play basketball on national TV. So, and I was excited. I said I got Maryland, I got University of Louisville. I had a lot of teams, a lot of colleges that wanted me at the time. But I just knew that Coach P, he was a Hall of Fame coach, and I know he can, help excel my game and get me to the next level. So the people here embraced me immediately, and it just reminded me of home. That's basically the way I can explain it. Just more so reminded me of home, and I got this just a comfortable feeling.
Yeah,
Just
I've tried to find that through the fire with Sebastian. I've looked everywhere for it, cannot find it anywhere anymore. But I've
yeah,
only been able to see the short clips through the internet. But that's one thing. Somebody
yeah. I
needs to
don't
bring it
know
to
that.
light and get that thing back out there because I heard it's
Yeah.
really incredible.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a really good because he was a big time recruit at the time. I believe they were recruiting him over Rajon Rondo, if
Yeah,
I'm not
that's the whole
mistaken.
story.
That was the energy at the time, and I knew it was just a big deal. Louisville was always in it. I remember watching the tournament, and I just remember that, hey, they're going far, Final Fours, championships. Coach Rick Pitino coached in the NBA, coached at all these prominent schools, and won championships. Not just made it to the tournament, not just made it to the elite. No, they either Final Four or the championship. It's always a championship or bust, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to win. I want to go somewhere where I can get better and I can win and give myself the best opportunity to go pro.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
JB Creative, your trusted website designer and content creator, making your brand stand out from the rest. From web design and SEO to brand development for your business, JBC's got you covered. Let's go create.
All right, we'll dive into the next one. Next one's by our guy, the most loyal Shoot 360 member there
Yes,
is,
sir.
Cam. Cam wants to know what teammates from your time at Louisville did you admire the most?
From my time, did I admire? I want to say just what did I learn from a lot of those guys? I mean, Earl Clark, one of my best guys. Jerry Smith. Uh, who else? Preston Knowles, Reggie Delp. Who else was on that team? Samarda, my whole team. Everybody. I admired everybody. I would say though, all of my teammates, I loved them. But if you want to just say admiring who I looked to, was like, okay, this guy gets it. I'm gonna just throw it out. Kyle Curry. He worked hard, very quiet, didn't say too much. He was more like a robot, but he came in, he got his shots up, he worked hard, worked on his body, took care of his body, stayed out of trouble. Very smart guy. I think his parents are like the doctors or something. So he's a very quiet guy, but he worked hard, got extra shots up after practice, before and after practice, and yeah. So but if you want to say who I admired everybody on my team. I admired everybody on the coaching staff. I admired everybody that the manager. I admired everybody that helped build us into a winning program.
Awesome. Love it. All right. Final one we've got from Bron_TK. What were the toughest teams you had to prepare for in the old Big East, and what teams or players were the most difficult for you to personally prepare for?
All right, this is a pretty tough question. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to keep it short. This is a very tough question because my freshman year we were really good. So in the Big East, we were running through everybody. It wasn't nobody we was worried about. But the tough games, I'm gonna say that I can remember off the top of my head, Villanova. Villanova, they had a couple of guards there.
Scotty Reynolds. Dude was a
Scotty
dog. Was Scotty
Reynolds,
Reynolds there?
Scotty
There's one
Reynolds,
more. Ooh.
Corey Fisher.
Corey Fisher. Corey Fisher.
Corey
Yes.
Fisher. Which
Yeah, Scotty
on a
Reynolds and
side
Corey
note,
Fisher.
yeah, they were those guys. They did give us problems. And then if him and Fisher, Edgar Sosa and Fisher had a little rivalry because I believe they're from the same area.
Okay.
So they were definitely going at it. You know, you weren't getting the ball past them. They knew each other, man. But we had some epic games because they did play us pretty tough, and we always played in the where the Philadelphia Sixers play. Was it the Airlines?
It's like Wells Fargo now,
Wells
I
Fargo
think.
or something. So we played there. So it was always a packed house, and yeah, they were pretty tough to prepare for. But there were some tough games. West Virginia. West Virginia was a
Yeah, I don't
tough.
think you had too much of a problem against them that much. I feel like every time you played them, and Bob
Yeah,
Huggins was always
yeah.
livid.
Well, it was tough to go up there and play, but once we once we kind of we understood that they weren't going to lay down because they didn't never lay down. That's
Yeah.
one thing we handled them, but they were tough. They kept coming at you. I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, honestly, at my time, the Big East wasn't a pushover. Every night we had to play against somebody that was great. Or one or two great guys. You got your UConn, you playing Kemba Walker, then you got Syracuse, you got Pittsburgh, DeJuan Blair, you got your
Sam Young.
Sam Young. Very athletic. I can go on. Notre Dame. To So yeah, Big East at that time it was exceptional. Probably the players that I had to prepare for the most that I would say give me trouble. I would say nobody. Nobody gave me any trouble. I'm trouble. They had to prepare for me. Okay. uh, but yeah, the big guy from Syracuse,
Anuaku?
Anuaku.
Yeah.
He
His
probably
little
gave me the
brother,
most.
came at Chinanu. He came here a few years out. I think 2015 was his freshman year.
Yeah.
So that's what, brought in the granny shot and everything. But yeah,
Hey
they were both
man.
tanks.
Yeah, he's a tank. He's 275, 280, 6'10", but he's just built. He's ripped, cut, and he has touch around the basket, footwork. He's just a strong dude. It's like I'm looking at Coach P. I'm like, what you want me to do? Like, he's three of me. But at that point in time, I believe we won a fair amount of those games, but I just remember that extra padding. I had to wear extra padding because I knew I was going to take some elbows. I knew I had to just use my foot speed and athleticism. You just can't let them lay a body on you. But pretty much that's about it. I mean, if I'm looking from my position, but if you want to just look at it from a guard position that us as a team had to prepare for, let's go with Kemba Walker. He was tough to play to prepare for. A great shooter, he's small guard, but his handles were exceptional. So he was a great player for the conference at the time. So like I said, my time it was great. We had a lot of great players, but like I said, if anybody that I needed to prepare for, probably on Oahu, but hey, they had to prepare for me. Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for this one. Thank you to Best Way, Cardinal Sports Zone, and JB Creative. Terrence, you got anything before we leave?
Thank you to all the supporters. Thank you, Blake. Everybody that's been able to put this together. Make sure y'all follow us on all platforms. Spilling the Veal. And until next time, see you
Yep.
later.
Well, won't announce it yet. We'll be back May 8th with a good interview. So we'll see you
Yeah.
then.
So, yeah, stay tuned.